Let's go. Hey, everyone. This is Veronica.
This is Andy.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Dalton, and this is the Logging into UKG, a Chicago Users Group production.
The HCM podcast by HCM admins for HCM admins.
That's us. That's you.
That's us. Welcome, everybody. We have a very special episode for you. One that I'm very excited to talk to you about and to release. And when we in the users group were deciding to do a podcast, this was our special guest today was one that I immediately had in mind because I feel that he would be a great guest, very topical, very humorous, and a part of our childhood. And what I mean by childhood is growing up in the UKG environment, he was the voice. And that is none other than, I'd like to welcome to the podcast, Chris Pacini.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Veronica. Dalton, nice to be here. Hello, everyone listening, watching, Chicago User Group. It's my home, as you know, so I feel like I'm home court right now, Andrew. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it. Tremendously honored to be here.
You're so welcome. Like I said, when we first came up with this idea, you were one of the first guests that I thought of that would be fantastic to have on the episode, because growing up, and I keep on referring to it as growing up, but it really was.
Yeah.
It really was. You were the voice. This is the kind of the man behind the voice of a lot of the trainings that I had grown up doing and growing up in this environment learning about. I know that sounds weird, and I'm going to keep on saying that, but I can't thank you enough, Chris, for all that you've done and the support that you've not only provided me, but a lot of our other listeners in a lot of the releases, the trainings, a little bit of everything. You were involved in it, and I think people might miss that, and it's just one of those things that we want to catch up with you and see how you're doing and what you've been up to lately.
Yeah, and to sort of tack on to what Andrew said, like when you heard that voice, you were like, "Oh yeah, we're in good hands for this podcast,
Wow.
for this learning environment." And so we're very excited to have you on.
Those are very nice things to say, and many of you don't know, but Andrew keeps saying when he was growing up, but I am 100 years old, so it makes a lot of sense. I just look really good for my age. No, thank you for that as well. What a great run, what a great journey. Still here. I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere. The only real difference is now I'm working out of my home versus a Chicago office, which I think is really cool anyway, because we live in Chicago. And guess what happens in Chicago 4 or 5 months out of the year? There's this thing called snow and cold, and that's hard to travel across town to get to an office. So if anything, things have gotten a little better. So although this year it wasn't too bad.
When you said what happens in Chicago during those months, I was going to say lose to the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I mean,
that's a good call. That was a good call. We did not script that, folks. This is not on my script anyway, but you all know I've gone off the cuff forever. People didn't believe me when I used to tell them I don't script. I never script. I will never script. For every 1 hour, most of you probably remember me before you get into the questions per se, but you know me. You know I was going to go off the cuff. I wasn't going to wait for you to wait for the questions. We used to study a lot. Before we got on the air, it was a lot of study. So for every hour of live, there was about 2 hours, 2.5 hours of prep, study, script writing, rehearsing, practicing. So by the time it went live, we were so well prepared that guess what? It seemed like I was going off the cuff because I felt comfortable enough with the content. And so I got to get you back with that Packers comment, Andrew. It'll happen before the end of the podcast.
Well, listen, Andrew's the only one that's really a diehard Packers fan, and I also think that you hit the nail on the head. I think we're all in good company. There's not a lot of scripting here. We were totally off the cuff. I think we're all excited, as they mentioned, to have you here. Not only have you been a staple around UKG, but most importantly, I think that the value you've added to all of us as admins has been, just bar none. I think you and I have met in person and talked about, what we miss about you leading those release calls. We talk amongst our groups. And so I'm just excited for us to learn a little bit more about what you've been doing, what you've been up to, Maybe you'll sneak in a few little nuggets about, the Pacini's vault. And so we can find out what's in there and learn a little bit more about your.
Before we hop in, though, to what you're doing now, obviously we all know who you are, and a lot of our listeners will know who you are. But for those HCM admins who are either new to UKG or joined UKG from the Kronos side and didn't get to go ahead and, as Andrew put it, grow up with the amazing voice that is Chris Pacini. Can you give us just a little like introduction on who you are, your like history with Ultimate before the merger, so that we sort of like lay some of that groundwork for our listeners?
Yeah, fair. That's fair. First of all, I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I hate the Packers. Just gonna get that right out in the open.
All right,
but,
cut it. Cut this up.
But having said that, for those of you that don't know me, it's easy to remember how long I've been with UKG. 24 years, because I started in October of 2020. Excuse me. So that's I'll be 24 years in October. So October of 2020. Maybe I should practice some more.
October of 2000.
Yes, that's it.
I know
2020.
2020. I'm like, well, you're not that old then. You're just
Hold on then. October of 2000. The other position I'll tell you about in a little bit started 2020. But I'll use it as, let's pretend it's a day. All right, the whole thing is a day. So my 8 a.m. in the beginning, as you know, I started out brick and mortar training. I used to do all of the security classes. I used to do all of the brick and mortar classes in Schaumburg, Illinois. Remember that place way in the beginning? I used to do the BI back in the day. We called it BI, Cognos BI, before we did people analytics. I did the payroll stuff. I did a lot of the HR stuff. So that was we used to do a boot camp class that I used to call butt camp, because we would sit on our butts for 2 weeks. People would go home on the weekend. So I did a lot of that for probably about 9 years. Fun, amazing, incredible. People would come from all over the country. They would hang with us and me in Schaumburg. Right now, we used to go to the Lou Malnati's in Schaumburg, Illinois, have some pizza. Everybody would chip in $5, $10 at the time. Not today, but back in the time. And we'd all have some cool pizza. And then we go back and we do security, role-based security. What's the difference between a role and a role type? Remember that? What's the difference between all those things? What's a package when you're doing reporting? So in the beginning, this was probably 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning of my career. And I did that for about 9 years. But, I'm married, as many of you know. I have 2 children. Started missing anniversaries. I started missing birthdays. Didn't want to do that anymore. So in April of 2009, I had this really cool leader that said, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, I don't know. Why don't we try to create a new way to tell a story? And what do you think happened in April of 2009? The first release webinar ever, which was epic. We couldn't make room for everybody. It was so crazy full. It was amazing. And I'd do my puns and I would do my jokes, and it was kind of off the wall. But you know what? You were starting to learn because I engaged you, right? You guys remember that time?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was fantastic.
Excuse me, I'm getting all choked up here. 1 sec.
No, just like the Bears playoff hopes.
Oh, I was waiting for something crazy. Oh, it's just unfair. He's trying to catch his breath, and these are guests.
Oh wow!
Oh, you all right?
Oh my God! You choked. You tongue tied me. No, let's keep rolling. Let's not stop. I'm getting all choked up here. Now I sound like the Godfather. Hey, welcome to the family. So you all know the beginning of that. Many of you know the release webinar, excuse me, which eventually turned into the BI Knowledge Hour. Mm-hmm. And then what other knowledge hours do you all remember while I catch my breath here? Notice what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got the payroll ones. That was the one. Those are the ones I really remember. Were there other ones?
Yeah, really the main ones that I remember. I remember a lot of the reporting ones, because it made such an impact, just hopping in and being like, all right, as in, someone who is so new to reporting, I was like, let's see what I can grab. And I always left with something new and exciting to put into my reports.
I agree.
Well, even just like the energy that you used to bring from the release, because those are always the most exciting from a customer standpoint and hearing all the new things that are coming out. So just that energy that was drawn on a lot of those was really impactful.
Well, and the fact that you kept the energy high despite how long some of those released webinars could go, like you kept driving and you never flagged, and that I think really helped everyone's attention just stick with it that whole time.
Well, I believed in engagement. I believe in engagement. So when you teach or you educate an adult learner, if you engage them, if I can engage you, like with my call front, I'm doing this all on purpose. This is all unscripted, right? If I can engage you, I could teach you anything. I can sell you anything. I can support you on anything. And so to me, it was about educating. And so then everything just started morphing. People kind of liked the vibe of it. At least 90% of you did. Yeah. Because that's, we kept track of scores. We would give surveys. So 9 out of 10 of you would say, epic, awesome, beautiful. And my special gift was the BI Knowledge Hour. That was epic because we'd started doing twice, 2 of them every second Friday of the month, if I remember. And we get 12, 13, 1,400 people a pop. And back in the day, you might remember Alex Keever. You might remember Tom Johnson. You remember Angela Franz. You might remember Harold B. These are all my guest speakers. And I don't want to say this too hard, but it's true. We never rehearsed. We just kind of show up, and I just let Alex go crazy. And I'd be like, if something blows up, let it blow up. Yeah. If you forget to put an asterisk behind your when you're like confirming and you're validating the script for SQL, or you're validating the script for Cognos, don't stop. Don't make it pretty. Blow it up. Let them see that you blow it up, and then fix it in front of them. So that's kind of how the brand started taking shape. It was honest. It was fun. So those were the beginning. That was the beginning, when we started really pumping those out. I remember doing 8 a week once. You guys remember do you guys remember the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, PPACA?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes. Yeah. I think I learned more about that stuff than I ever wanted to, but they started calling me Pa Pacini because of the name, PPACA. And we did like 13,000 students one week when that was in its prime. So, but like everything, like my mother would say, this is for you, Andrew, anche il ferro si piega, which means even steel bends. And after I got some call from some WebEx dude that said, hey, dude, you know that we're moving from WebEx to Zoom? This was maybe about 2 or 3 in the afternoon of my career, so to speak. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, you did 1,500 and some webinars to 1.2 million students. And it was like, oh my gosh. So it might have seemed like I just disappeared, but it took a bit. We started getting other people involved. You might remember Susan Hochberg. You might remember Cara Pelletier. You certainly remember Cliff Blackman. Probably. He was my partner in crime for a long time. He's actually now in pre-sales with me internally. So it was, and then the opportunity opened up. I found myself in a position where I can learn more if I made the move. I can learn more about UKG Ready. I can learn more about UKG Workforce Management, UKG Bright, UKG fill in the blank. And that's really the reason why, I made the move from educator, webinar dude, recording dude, and they're letting me go back to Aspire now. So that's a good thing too. Usually, they don't let me get out there because it causes too much trouble sometimes. But so those were the early days, and it was fun. It was amazing. And I look back on them as my golden years, honestly.
Awesome. It just seems like, there felt like a shift. It's nothing about the folks that lead the classes now, but I think Dalton made the comment, your energy was just bar none. It was nonstop. And you are 1,000% correct. We all are responsible for training and engaging users, and that's exactly what you have to do. You have to keep adults engaged from the beginning to the end. And to be honest, that's a trait that not everybody has. Some people are great at providing context around content and information, but they're not good at off the cuff and throwing those little puns in there and just making people laugh while they learn, and not just walking away knowing about the system, but walking away and having an experience and being excited to go back to the next class. And even those of us who probably at some point didn't need to go back, we just kept coming back because it was fun. It was like, I'm like, Chris has got another class. I'm signing up for it. What are we going to do? Like, what's he going to do this time? What are we going to learn? Even if you didn't walk away with this grandiose thing, you just kind of were like, yeah, that was a solid class. I re-engaged, or I refreshed what I already knew. And I think that's that's just not a skill that everyone has. And that was something that you've always done really well. So we appreciated that. I think I can speak on behalf that we all really appreciated that.
Yeah, it didn't make those refreshes. Sometimes when you think about a refresh, you're like, oh, I gotta go do this again. No, absolutely not. I mean, those refreshes were exciting, and you learn something new, even if you've taken the class 1 or 2 times prior.
Well, what I would do, believe it or not, this is off the cuff. You guys wanted some off the cuff stuff of the vault, right? This is one of them. I'll share a couple of these with you. One of them was I would challenge all my product managers when they started coming out with all these features. First thing I would say is, so what? Why should a customer care? Why is this a big deal? Why would they want to know this? What's the relevancy of the content? Because content without context is confusion. So as educators, we take that content, we study it. Why should I teach Jeronica why this is a big deal? Why should she care? And then how can I hold her attention? Well, I know how I can hold her attention. I can make her laugh. I can use silence. And I started getting really good at effectively using silence with 1,200, 1,400 people. I'd say something like, all right, folks, I see that the WebEx attention meter is below 40%. Are any of you still listening out there? And I would stop. Just like that. And I would wait 10 full seconds. And all of a sudden, people started thinking, uh-oh, he's calling on me. I missed something. And guess what happened? That attentive, I would never show, it was a little exclamation point. Zoom maybe has something similar, but I don't deal with the big audiences like I used to. So that's when I knew I can use silence as a way to engage, whether you were, try that next time. Do the whole, what I call the 10-second rule. If you're finding that people are starting to fall asleep at the wheel on you, and you're just say, all right, what questions do you have out there? Stop talking. 10 full seconds. And you will see the power of silence from an interaction standpoint. The other was, I don't know if you were on this webinar, Jeronica or Andrew or Dalton, but it was in Schaumburg. There was behind me, there was a guy cleaning the windows. Okay, he had the 2 ropes and he was on. Okay, all right, okay. Classic, true story, not made up. And, and I'm talking, blah, 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 I'm doing my thing, holy cow. And people are saying, hey, Pacini, there's some guy behind you. So, I look around, I wave to the guy, he waves to me. He's got his little squeegee, right? And, it's kind of a windy day, so he's kind of rocking a little bit. I just continued doing my thing. After a couple, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, he was no longer there. But we kept seeing the rope swing. So I'm like, gee, maybe I should check on the guy. I took advantage of that complete moment to make that engage. Is he there? Is he not there? Did he fall? So I got up, went by the window, knocked on the window. He looked up at me. Everybody's okay, folks. But it was just being okay with the unexpected. It was being okay. Trying to pretend like he wasn't there would have been the worst move ever. Turn that into a golden nugget. Yeah. Hey, is he there? Is he not there? So anyway, that was kind of the secret of my sauce anyway, and then I felt blessed. I really felt I was given this gift by, we know who, the powers above for me anyway. I was given this gift to be in an opportunity to reach so many of you with my voice and my face and my jokes. And I never took that for granted ever. And so I felt it was my responsibility to take care of you while you were growing up, Andrew, while you were still a Lung Packer fan fledgling before they gave you the Packer whatever, but that's another story.
Embrace the silence.
Embrace the silence. Try it next time. Try the 10-second rule. You would be blown away by how powerful that is.
Does that work with significant others as well?
Oh my God. That's horrible.
Andrew, you give it a shot. You let us know. Once your divorce papers are signed, you let us know how that goes.
This might be his last podcast.
That's right.
If we don't see him on the next one, we know what happened.
Okay. Then we know it doesn't work.
She's embracing the silence at that point. Yeah. So there you go. Oh, wow.
Was there a particular session or training that you enjoyed doing, that you look forward to doing, or that really you brought that extra little bit of energy to?
Great question. Yeah, I had 2. The release webinar I felt was my baby. That was I was one of the initial agents of creating that. I remember this leader told me to come to Florida, and we had a bunch of index cards. And what do you want to call this thing? How big do you want it to be? What tools should you use? Should we have Q&A? The Q&A was huge. If you remember, the Q&A was huge. Yeah. It was hard to keep track of when you're a panelist, but the Q&A, where the ability of giving you the ability to ask questions. So the release webinar for sure was my passion, my love. I still follow the internal folks on the learning team. I still have great communication with the people on my old team, so to speak, the learning team. I was there 19 and a half years. So, and you know, they're doing a great job. I plug them all the time. They're awesome. They're a great group. But the release webinars, and Andrew, the BI Knowledge Hour, especially the early ones, when we started doing stuff off the cuff, we started doing burst report. We started doing if then else statements, case statements on the fly. And I knew enough about SQL Server, and I knew enough about the way databases work, that I added a lot of value to that, because I can really support Alex when he was out on the limb, or they were doing something that was totally off the wall. That's probably going to blow up with 1,200 people watching, but it's okay, because Chris Pacini said to just keep rolling and don't hide it. And they trusted me. So, and because of that, you all felt that love, that vibe. So those two were probably my marquee signature ones.
And they probably learned how to fix it on the fly, right? They learned how to. Most learners were like, oh, so that's what I do.
That's right.
I know that's what I would do. Be like, oh, okay, if it bombed, then I do this. It's like, oh, great. Yeah.
Don't cover it up. Let me see the error. I want to see the error, so then you can learn, and then we can learn together and grow that. So, yeah.
And there's something, I think, really empowering watching something blow up, and then the person who it blows up in front of is just completely calm as they're trying to fix it. Because it really lets you know that, oh, if that happens to me, I don't have to freak out.
That's right.
It's okay. It's not, hasn't damaged anything. And there's a strong sense of power there. Or empowerment, I should say.
Absolutely. And then they started messing with me. You know, they would start putting my email in the script, all right, when they're doing the conditional if then else, if this then that, then or my phone number, you know. That so we had a lot of good friendships, and most of those people are still around. I can name them, and they're all still around. You know, I still work with the BI team pretty closely. So you're definitely bringing up some nostalgia for me today too. That's probably the vibe and the energy that you feel.
100%.
So these, obviously, what you did, it really stemmed around Legacy Ultimate, right? When you started and you were on this journey of leading this Legacy Ultimate, was there ever a time that you got to dabble into the Kronos or provide some value to them as they're coming together to merge? Because let's be clear, you did a lot of it. So they became a company, you know, one new family, UKG, through their many iterations. Did you get an opportunity to maybe share some of your experience and knowledge on how they take this baby that's a Legacy Ultimate thing and make it a UKG thing?
Oh yeah, all the time. I was asked almost immediately. To do, I could give you. It was May after I started to do a migration from Workforce Central to Workforce Management, to do a flip, what they called a flip. So I had to learn what that meant, right? I don't know what that means. I don't know Workforce Central. I don't know Workforce Management, but I winded up meeting new people, and hey, they knew of me. So they had listened to my body of work a little bit. They had come to some early pro webinars, internal webinars that I was still part of before my transition. And they were like, wow, this dude can talk. This dude can host. This dude, you know, even though he doesn't know the mechanics of things, I learned that I don't have to know everything. I can bring those experts in, and I can be the strong host to all of a sudden engage the subject matter expert, to all of a sudden engage and move things along, right? So yeah, I was hoping that they would feel my impact, and again, great people, united, right? U is united, as far as the kind is K, and the G is growing. So those are our core values, and so we tried to embody that, Veronica, to answer your question. They brought me in to do recordings. They brought me in to do little podcast series that were just name it, about UKG Talk, about UKG Wallet, about UKG Bright, about UKG, I could fill in the blank. So yeah, they put me to work right away. They didn't, I didn't wait. I didn't need to, I wasn't on the bench ever between when one moment started and the other moment ended, but it's like a continuation. Like for me, it's hard to even think Ultimate and Kronos anymore from where I sit. Maybe from where you sit, you still think that. I just think of it as one day. It's probably now 4:00 in the afternoon in my day, so to speak, if that's what you mean. I did the webinars until about 2009, 2019, 2020. There's the 2020 I was getting to earlier before I got all choked up. And then about 2020, I officially moved over. Hardest decision I ever made in my life, because I didn't leave because I was unhappy. I left because I felt that this was an opportunity where I can learn more about the UKG product suite. We all know that I know Pro, right? Everybody knows that. I grew up on UltiPro, or UKG Pro, the official name now. But what about Ready? What about workforce management? What about all these other pieces? And I just know as a pre-sales architect now, I'm more of a behind-the-scenes guy. I work for people that support you, that train you, that sell you. So I'm more of the behind-the-scenes coach now. And then I really started liking the coaching and mentoring part of the evolution of my career, where I was able to make other people rock stars. It was okay for me to say, oh no, I don't need to be the guy anymore. We got enough great people. I can step back. I'll still be there as a coach, as a mentor, as that guy behind the scenes that you go to when you got to do a demo and it's not working. Oh my God, the script's not working. We got it. Don't worry about it. How about we try this? And so that's the new role I've been doing now since the transition, since about 2020.
So you had mentioned that, obviously Pro was your bread and butter and what you really knew. But now as you're training other folks to either do those presentations or those sales, what is one of the products that you've started to learn since you've transitioned that you've really taken a really strong liking to, or that you really like doing part of the presentation for?
This is an easy one. I almost feel like I could have paid you $10 to set me up like that.
I'll send you the Venmo request later.
Please. Yeah, right. The check's in the mail. I get it. I understand. I see where this is going. Another Packers fan, probably. Whatever. Easy. I've been involved in a lot of cool projects, but the one that stands out immediately with your question is Great Place to Work Hub, because it's all about culture. I came from culture. I grew up with culture. We used to live, breathe culture all the time. Trust. So to me, if you're already using UKG Pro, you're already, it sounds like I'm gonna try to sell you on something. I'm just answering a question. Great Place to Work Hub is a great way to do analytics and insights for culture management, to make sure, hey, are people asleep at the wheel? Do I have people that have silently quit? Is there equity across fill in the blank? And I fell in love writing the script for that. I fell in love teaching the pre-sales folks. I was part of a bigger team. It wasn't just me. And then guess what? Last November, I got to go to Aspire and met a few of you. And I was actually working the booth for Great Place to Work Hub. It's because it's that cool. And it's got the pro vibe that I'm used to. It's got all the things like when I grew up, Andrew. It's got all that same vibe of analytics, and it's powerful because it helps people stay happy. It helps people feel like they belong. It helps people feel like they're included. It helps people, and I'm on a mission. Everyone here at UKG is committed to serving you. I know some people for over 20 years now, and some new people I've met since 2020. But we tell you all the time, we inspire every one of you to become a great place to work through technology, like the Great Place to Work Hub. And we believe it. We're trying anyway.
That's awesome. I mean,
you like that, Jeronica?
I do.
Like what I said?
It's very not scripty, but it's very much, you can feel that it's becoming who UKG wants to be when they grow up, right? As you mentioned, the culture has been there for years, and not saying that prior to that, the other side didn't have culture, but the reality is they were very different cultures, and from a customer seat, you could see that. So it's nice to see that you're putting kind of like this little bridge in between, which is the Great Place to Work, to kind of everyone. We care about culture, which is not just the people that work for UKG, but it's the customers, it's the vendors, it's all the relationships and how we
absolutely.
And so it's cool that you say that, because a lot of companies still aren't ready to take that leap, because we all know that if you're going to start doing the surveys, you've got to do something about the results. So when the results come back, you've got to be willing to make some radical changes in some ways to really change who you are as an organization. But it's fun to hear you say that, because I really think it's cool. I remember Great Place to Work many organizations ago, and that magazine that came out, and everybody had that magazine in your company and that little badge on it. I'm like, who are the great? It's kind of like the college magazine where you're like, what are the top colleges? You're like flipping through. So it's kind of cool that, a company that's such as great is the one that you work for. It's now, this is who they are, right? They are a great place.
I had a chance to leave 4 years ago, right? We all did. I'm still here. I still believe. Are we perfect? No. We have more work to do. We do, but we want you to keep us focused, keep us sharp, ask us questions, right? Engage us, take training. Make sure you take training. Make sure that you are part of the UKG community. Ask questions. Don't be shy. This is why I was really trying to get on this podcast to let you all just say, hey, lots of changes happened. We all know that. I certainly didn't call it. I was kind of minding my own business, and suddenly, without warning. But you know what? We are at a place now where we can do things we would have never been able to do earlier in the day. So that's why I like your question, Dalton, because I think that's one of the Benefits Hub is another one. The UKG Pro Benefits Hub. I've been working a lot with that. So definitely a lot of cool projects that are in the hopper, so to speak. How we doing with time? We okay with time?
Oh yeah, we're good.
Time's great. Now, I always think it's important. I love to learn about people and their work, but I also love to learn about people because at the core, you are who you are. So when Chris Pacini is not, being the voice and doing all these crazy things and mentoring now and being the guy that you are, what are you doing outside of work? What gives you the same passion that work gives you? What are you excited about? Obviously, we know the Bears you're excited about. You've got a family. So,
or used to be, but that's okay.
Might be. Who is Chris Pacini when he's not, at work and doing the UKG thing?
Great question. Wow. Well, I'm married to a beautiful woman I've known for a long time. Got two beautiful kids. They're one's 25, one's 21. Holy cow, how did that happen?
Yeah.
I have a 17-year-old dog that's still hanging out. And I like putting puzzles together. I shouldn't admit this too loud, but my son got me a 1,500-piece puzzle right before COVID hit. He's like, oh yeah, Dad, you think you're good at putting puzzles? Try this one. And it's just one of those really hard ones. And I started it in the Chicago office because that was the only place I can get the frame in, right? You usually put the frame in first, and then COVID hit and I wasn't allowed to go back to the office, so I couldn't do the puzzle, right? So slow but sure, when I finally did go back and I was doing webinars, true story, I have to admit, Cliff Blackman would be talking and I knew we were in good hands, and I would be, sounds good.
Together on
and I was still manning Q&A. I was still actively present, but it's like I'm one of those guys that I need to have stimulation, and I find that doing that gave me, oh yeah, that's a good answer to that question. And so I love putting together puzzles, especially in the cold Chicago winters for sure. I love bike riding. I love swimming. I've lost some weight. I've had to lose some weight. I won't go into details, but I'm doing better. It's kind of a version 2 of myself, and just turned the big 6-0. That's crazy.
Really?
But yeah. Look at that. But trying to just lose some weight. So taking care of my family, and I went to Italy last March with my daughter. That was an incredible experience. I kind of gave you some good roots. And so just trying to, and I read a lot. Veronica, I love to read. I'm an old school guy. I love an old school book. I love the smell of the book. I love the vibe of the book. And lately I've been reading, I can't find it. It's right behind me now. I can't seem to find it. It's called The Finding of the Third Eye, which is a really, really interesting discussion on connecting with the greater part of us, whatever we call that greater side, and being able to pump out webinars effortlessly and having this inexhaustible energy. So I'm getting into more of understanding the why behind things. So that's kind of what I like to do when I'm not UKGing.
No, 60 and there doesn't seem to be any stopping.
No.
Stuff like you're just getting, you're in a new frame of mind, a new phase of life. Your kids are adulting.
Yeah.
But you've kind of had a whole new, you're in a different space, it sounds like, but a good space.
I hope so, right? I mean, good Lord can take me any second. That's true of all of us. But I tell them, put me to work. What do you want me to do? Where can I add value? I'm that little puppy dog. How can I help? What's the biggest hole, that we have to fill, so to speak? And send me to Vegas. I want to do a podcast. I'm just kind of bursting at the seams here because I feel I have a lot to offer. And it's honestly, sincerely, a great group of people. There's no other way to say that. Just cool people, wacky, goofy people that I've known for a long time, but also people that I've met along the way. And that's also a reason why I enjoy still what I'm doing. So
I hear a partnership for Vegas for next year's podcast, guys. Except maybe they'll actually give us a room and we won't be like harboring in the.
Oh, nice.
We might
That
have
would be
been
great.
like in a room we weren't supposed to be in.
Oh,
You weren't
gotcha.
supposed to say that on the podcast, Veronica.
Oh, you know
Oops.
what? It's over now. Like that's okay. That's out of our vault. Like that was one of
That's
our.
right.
Right. Oh, I love that. That's really cool. You also were speaking Italian, I think. So is that your national?
Sì, parlo veramente, specialmente italiano. Sono italiano. I'm Italian by my mother's Italian, my father's Italian. So I'm a first generation Italian. I actually spoke Italiano before I spoke English. Not many people know that. And so I use the vibe of that a lot, that when I need to reach in. There were some webinars where my audio wasn't working, and I would use the plane metaphor all the time. I don't know if you all remember that. Every time I did a webinar, there's 3 parts to a webinar, just like an airplane. There was takeoff, there was reaching comfortable cruising altitude, and there was landing. If you ever go back to a recording, I use that metaphor a lot. And there were some webinars where we would lose one engine because the guest speaker wasn't working, his audio wasn't working. We would lose another engine because mine wasn't, and we were just gliding. And people were like, "You're doing great, don't worry about it." Like, they never wanted me to fail. Like, I'm like, "No, we're going to get this, we're going to get through this." And so with that as an honest trust, I mean, with trust, you can go anywhere, you can do anything. They'll believe you. They'll come with you through the worst webinars. They'll believe in you when you're not on your best. There was a time I was sick. I was sick beyond belief. I could not. I had such a bad headache, and people didn't even know. They didn't even know I was sick, because it's like, you know what? It's showtime. You get, no matter what you got to do, get in there. So, and I did my best. To deliver honest, engaging, fun, but also educational. I wanted you to learn. It's one thing you go to a webinar and it's fun. The next question is, did you learn anything, Andrew? And hopefully when you were growing up, you learned a few things along the way, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of what was really effective is your knowledge of the system, your knowledge of the materials, and then to bring that humor, to bring that lightheartedness to it, really had an impact on me, and I think a lot of our listeners as well. I know in the beginning of this podcast, I was starting to fumble over my words a little bit, just because I've been so excited of looking forward to this podcast and getting you out to our listeners again. And without lack of a better phrase, getting kind of choked up, because a lot of my success in my career has been your trainings and what you and your team, or the team, has delivered to us. And to be honest, I can't thank you enough for that.
Well, you're welcome. You saw me get, I was playing it off like I was losing my voice, but you saw me get emotional. You 4 watched me, you heard me probably. It was a very emotional thing. LaTanya Shields sang Unforgettable, the very last webinar that I did. She surprised me. She was a backup singer for Elton John. She's a professional singer at UKG. And we used to do karaoke sometimes, and we would sing Unforgettable, and then she would chime in. That would just melt me. And so that last webinar, she sang it, and I had to put myself on mute most of that hour. It was that emotional, because I knew I was leaving, and I knew it was going to be hard. But it was time. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It was just time.
I think we could probably recreate that. Veronica, didn't you sing with Michael Bublé?
Are you serious? Really?
She did.
At Connections, at one of the UKG conferences.
Okay.
You never know. Today wouldn't be the day at all.
Not today.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was March 2020.
That was
That
like
was-
the year, right?
That was the year.
Nice.
The year that
Okay.
everybody
Well,
found
maybe
out.
in a future episode, Veronica, we could surprise people.
Look, I would never be opposed to it. I'm always trying to find my way near a stage and a microphone. So,
And we all know I have a face for radio, so that's going to work out beautifully. So,
love it. Team, I know we got some other questions. I know there's some things we want to know yet.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, I want to make sure.
yeah,
So-
nice, Veronica.
You've gone ahead and you've mentioned a few times things for our listeners to take away. You've mentioned learning. You've mentioned trusting. What if you really had to go ahead and distill advice down to one thing, what would you go ahead and tell our listeners, specifically, I guess, aimed at the HCM admins, the folks who are the UKG users? What's that one piece of advice that you would give them if you had to distill it down?
I thought about this. I had a feeling you're going to ask me sooner or
Mhm.
later, and I think it's engage us, get
Okay.
involved, be part of a community. We're a family here at UKG. We want to hear what you have to say. Tell us, speak to us. I was talking to Jeff Rosenberg, who's our vice president of my particular area for pre-sales and enablement, and I said, hey, you know what? I'm meeting some cool people. They're from Chicago, the Chicago user group. These are the questions they're going to ask me. He's like, that's awesome. He was at Oracle for 22 years, and he's like, tell them about family. Tell them to stay engaged. And I agree with him 100%. People are knocking on his door all the time. How do I get into UKG? How do I get into UKG? Because we're trying to create and evolve that culture of exactly what we talked about, keeping you happy, committing to, if we're not doing something right, tell us. Tell your relationship managers, tell your sales it's great to go have coffee with a peer and complain about it all day long. Great. But you know what? Let us know where we can be better. Let us know. And so I think that's the device. Whether you've known me for 24 years and you've known my voice for 24 years, or whether you're just listening to me for the first time because you're brand new with the experience, I would say the same thing 24 years ago. If you were my ever first Chicago class, tell us how we can be doing better. Force us to give you our best, right? To make that commitment, because that's what we want to do. We want you to be partners for life. I know that sounds scripted, but I'm not scripting. I'm speaking from the heart now. If you believe in the script from the heart, and I tell this to people at Aspire, because then I see them, hey, Chris Pacini, holy cow. Usually they say, gee, you're a lot shorter. You're a lot taller on webinar. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's American, Italian, whatever. And they're like, well, there's that and the other. I'm like, go have that conversation. Go have that fierce conversation with somebody. Let them know it's not working. Let them know it's not happening. Or guess what? Tell us when we do something right. Do you ever tell your kids? I tell my kids all the time, I don't want to hear a text message when it's only bad news. Tell me some good news sometimes, right? Let me know that you won something. Let me know that you're doing something. So just keep engaging us, Dalton. Keep asking us questions, and give us an opportunity to make it right. If it's not right, let us know about it, is my advice.
I love that. So one of the other questions I think would be interesting. So there's so many roles and positions within UKG, and there's so many places you can go. But if you had to look at the landscape of roles and opportunities, is there a dream role that you would have, or that you think that would be interesting to see in the future of the UKG family?
Well, Packer fans won't believe me, but we won't go there. We know who we are there. I'm very lucky and very blessed. I feel like I am in my dream role right now, because I'm influencing those people behind the curtains that are influencing you. I'm influencing those people that are trying to sell you, train you, consult you, install you, fill in the verb. So those people that you interact with now, you don't hear me as much as you used to. I'm still present in every single way. I write a lot of the scripts for the folks. I write a lot of the talk tracks for the folks. I give a lot of coaching, a lot of mentoring. And where I'm at in my life right now, I feel mission accomplished in the first part of the day, right? So now it's probably like about 6 o'clock now, 6:30 of the day, so to speak. And that's where I feel that I can be a bridge. And guess what? If all of a sudden we open a new door with this podcast and people like that we do this, who knows where this might take us? This might be a one-time deal. But if all of a sudden people are like, who knows, and I don't know that. I sincerely don't know that. But I feel right now I am where I need to be. Does that make sense? And if you want to call that the dream job, I'm living it right now. It's a hard, challenging role. Don't let me kid you. But it's really, really fulfilling and satisfying to be able to help someone that wants to learn more, that's going to come and demo to you. Imagine that somebody has to come and demo.
Yeah.
Let's say you're interested in the Great Place to Work Hub, and they have to come to demo to you guys and gals. And all of a sudden it's like, what if it's their first demo? Oh my God, how terrifying is that? So it's great to be able to coach them, say, hey, don't worry about it, you got to just focus on this. So that's my honest answer, Veronica. I am in that role right now.
It's fun. It's cool.
I miss you guys though. I miss you guys.
I know.
I miss you guys.
Miss you.
We miss you too.
Community. I miss the community. I miss the vibe. I miss teaching. I miss sharing. I miss not knowing when you stumped me. And you guys got better through the years. Like at the beginning, it was easy. You didn't know anything. But as you grew up, man, your questions got better. They got harder. And you guys, and I was proud of that. I was proud that you would stump me. I was proud that I didn't know. Does that sound crazy as an educator? I was actually proud of that. I'm like, yeah, they got me on that one. Cliff, they ate me alive. I would tell them after the webinar, they ate me alive on that one. But, round 2 tomorrow. There's no time to, lick your wounds. You got to get back in there, and you know the drill. Learn and evolve and share. So definitely.
Well, Chris, awesome. Just like the Green Bay Packers to the Chicago Bears, you've been owning it for years.
Didn't Eric Rodgers say that once? What a punk! What a punk! I'm going to go on the record and say, what a punk. Not you necessarily, him, but well, yeah. Let's hope. Who knows? Who knows what will happen?
Well, when he listens to this, we won't pull the trick and put your phone number up or your.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't.
I'm not going to do that. Awesome.
Well, before we wrap up, in the last podcast, we did go ahead and start something called the Word of the Podcast, and we've slowly been sprinkling the word through this podcast. But a reminder that this is a Chicago Users Group production. We do live user group presentations with a quiz. And so the word of this podcast episode will be an answer to one of those quiz questions. And in honor of our wonderful guest, the word of the episode is Pacini.
Oh.
So that is, for those of you who are listening and not able to go ahead and see the recording of this, that is spelled Pacini. So again, Pacini, and you guys can use that to win a gift card at our next user group presentation.
And let's encourage them, because I want to be honest, no one knew the word the last time. We had to go through several iterations of.
I know it hurt.
This is
it was a new initiative. That's fine, but this time there's no excuse.
And this is a good one. This is definitely going to be a good one. So check it out.
Okay, that's a good word. I like that word. Pacini. People sometimes say Pacini. It's technically Pacini. Yeah.
Pacini.
Nice. Beautiful. Wow. What a great. I can't believe it's been 54 minutes.
It's
Isn't that insane?
To wrap up here, I just want to thank our special guest, Chris Pacini, and everything that you've done, and I appreciate you coming on the podcast and talking with us here today. And here's to many more years of good UKG memories.
Cheers to you, my friends. Honestly, God bless y'all. It's a true honor and privilege to be given this opportunity. Good luck to all of you. And hopefully we'll meet in person soon. It'll be November pretty soon. And maybe that's Aspire time. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks
again, friends.
Well,
have a great day.
Thank you all. This has been the Chicago UKG User Group logging out. Have a good one all.
You too. Take care.